good, Ninja? OJ over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE News. We are keeping the news train rolling. We got some more information when it comes to Nintendo's second half of 2018, what titles are going to be coming. We also have Nintendo talking about consumers being receptive to the Nintendo Switch and how more titles will be coming. In addition to that, we're going to be talking about the Super Nintendo Classic and how much that system is sold. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And we are starting off with Nintendo. First and third party software lineups have been revealed, but it doesn't list every single game, so I'm not going to go down each game by each game because there are third party games and stuff that are just not on this list. But the big thing that we can take away from this, guys, is that Fire Emblem, Yoshi, and Super Smash Bros. Are all still listed for a 2018 release, and then Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch says 2018 or later, so there's still a good shot that it's coming in 2018. Now, Metroid Prime and Bayonetta 3 say to be decided on there, or TBA. So very interesting to see what titles we could be getting this year. And like I stated earlier, if you want to see like more of the third-party list and kind of everything, you can check out the link in the description below. It will be there. But like I stated, there are games that I know for a fact are confirmed for the West coming out this year, for example like Valkyria Chronicles 4, but they aren't listed on here. So I think it's a little bit of a throwaway to look at the third parties when it comes to these lists. But I wanted to talk about this, guys, because Fire Emblem, Pokemon, Smash, and Yoshi, those are all looking like 2018 titles. I know Fire Emblem is a game that we haven't seen anything of in terms of visuals or anything like that, but at the same time, like, I still think it's going to drop in 2018, and the biggest reason why I think so is because they've been working on this game since like 2015. After Fire Emblem Fates wrapped up, they've essentially been working on it since then. You have to remember Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, that was not made by the main team. That was made by a small side team or small up-and-coming developers over at Intelligent Systems, not necessarily a side team, but guys who have led before but not been in the leading role, and they got their opportunity to lead, direct, and make a new Fire Emblem game, pretty much being the swan song on the Nintendo 3DS, and they did a really good job. Obviously, Fire Emblem Echo Shadows of Valentia is a fantastic game, so they had a small side team working on that while the main team continued work on the main Fire Emblem game. Then once they were done with Fire Emblem Echoes, they kind of joined them back on that main game. So I do think that's going to be coming 2018. And if you haven't seen my video where I talk about Fire Emblem on the Nintendo Switch will shock and surprise you in its sales and what it looks like, please make sure you check out that video. I'll make sure to see if I can leave a link either in the comments or in the description below. But it's one of those things, guys, where Fire Emblem is going to be huge. A lot of people are trying to underestimate how big this game is going to be, and I'm telling you guys, if Fire Emblem Warriors, which I covered earlier in a previous video, if that can sell 1 million copies on the Nintendo Switch with a smaller install base at the time of when it dropped, what do you guys think that Fire Emblem, a brand new Fire Emblem, can do? I would say at least 4 to 5 times bigger than what Fire Emblem Warriors is. So in my opinion, we could be seeing those blockbuster sales that the Fire Emblem franchise deserves. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is Yoshi and also Super Smash Bros. Those were games that we did know were coming in 2018. Yoshi has been somewhat absent from the Nintendo Directs and stuff that Nintendo has done. So a lot of people were wondering, is this game even going to come out? They remember the troubled development or the long-term development of Yoshi's Woolly World. So some people are a little worried, but I wouldn't get worried at that. I think Nintendo really wants to make sure that they show that game off at E3, and I think that Smash Bros. Obviously that's going to be coming at E3. We have an invitational that is set, ready to go, locked and loaded. I mean, there's nothing that's going to stop that game from launching this year. So all good stuff when it comes to Nintendo's 2018 titles that we do know. Now let's kind of move on a little bit to what's going on with Bayonetta 3, then also Pokemon and Metroid Prime 4. So are any of those games likely to drop in 2018? And I would say Pokemon is obviously the most likely out of those three, just because Nintendo is listing it for 2018, but it does say 2018 or later. So what that tells me is that Nintendo is saying, please get this game done. We need to have it drop before the holiday season, like the Christmas and all of that, Black Friday. We want to get that, but they realize, the Pokemon company and everyone realizes that that might not happen. They might still have things that they need to do. They might still have to delay things for some reason. Something might go wrong in localization. You never know with these Pokemon games, especially with their scope and scale. So they're giving themselves a little bit of wiggle room just in case they have to delay it. But I feel that they do want to get this game out. They forecast a 20 million for the year. So if they're going to forecast 20 million for the year, you got to have heavy hitters. And I think that Smash Brothers, Fire Emblem, and Pokemon will definitely do that for you, along with Yoshi and a lot of other third-party games as well. So I'm thinking it's going to happen if they can, because early 2019, yes, it will sell, but definitely you'll get a more impact and a higher volume of sales if you get it out in November or December before Christmas. That's the target period, and that's what they've been doing, and they've been very successful, even with games that people weren't excited for. For example, like Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, those games have topped 7.5 million units, almost at 8 million, and people weren't really talking about that, but it launched during the holiday season for people to play. So I do feel that Pokemon will be a 2018 title. Now moving on to Bayonetta and Metroid Prime, obviously we don't know what's going on with those games. I think that Metroid might be a 2019 title, early 2019-ish. That does seem like it's a possibility. I was thinking that it could somehow make 2018, but now it's kind of overkill. I usually say, oh yeah, you want to have as many games as possible, but Pokemon, Smash, like Yokai Watch, you have a bunch of the third-party games, Yoshi, Fire Emblem, that might be a little too much for the second half of the year, so they're probably going to move that over. Now, Bayonetta, I still feel that Bayonetta could be a 2018 release. Now, I still feel that that could happen, just depending on what goes down, and anything could be slotted or moved up. For example, let's say if Pokemon gets delayed or something like that, then maybe they want to bring Bayonetta a little bit faster if they can. So it's still up in the air with those games, but I still feel that Bayonetta has a better chance than Metroid Prime 4, just because I think Metroid Prime 4's scope is just going to be so huge, and it just seems like that game is a little bit further off, since all we've seen is just like a title screen, right? All we've seen is a title screen, and they still don't have like a necessary like launch date for it. So yeah, to me that looks like that's going to be 2019. But Bayonetta, we did get a little bit of a teaser trailer, so we got a little bit more than we got, and we do know that Platinum Games, like when they go hardcore into one of their games that they're going, like they try to get that done, you know, they try to get it done. So we do know how they work in terms of their pace. So it's more likely that Bayonetta will drop in 2018, but I'm not sure what else needs to happen for that to happen. But we'll have to wait and see. This is all just speculation at this point, but it could be a 2019 title, early one as well. But either way, I'm psyched. There's a lot of cool games coming, and there's a lot of stuff that they haven't even announced yet that we'll have to get into, and I guess we'll talk about once E3 rolls around or Nintendo Directs for the rest of the year. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Nintendo's lineup for 2018? Some of the games that we do know, the first party games. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, now moving on to the next topic here. Nintendo does say that consumers have been very receptive to Nintendo Switch. That might be an understatement. And they're planning to reach a broader range of consumers with several hit titles, which we kind of discussed a little bit here. So this is coming from Nintendo's fiscal year report. Quote, consumers have been very receptive to the new concept introduced by Nintendo Switch as a home gaming system that you can take with them to play anytime, anywhere with anyone, which helped it maintain its favorable momentum during the fiscal year. Looking ahead, we plan to leverage this momentum to reach an even broader range of consumers and expand the install base of the hardware. Specifically, we released Nintendo Labo in April as an offering of a new way to play, and then we slated to release Mario Tennis Aces in June, as well as the latest entry from the popular series Super Smash Bros. With a temporary title within this year. We expect to release several hit titles from other software publishers as well. Then in September, we will begin offering the Nintendo Switch paid online service to expand the online functionality of the Nintendo Switch. Our goal is to take full advantage of the platform by continuously introducing compelling new software while further increasing sales of popular titles that are already in the market. So that's very important for them to say that last bit. I know obviously they want to release new games. They're going to do that. That's going to be big, expanding the base with stuff like Labo, but also previously released titles, making sure people don't forget. So don't forget me, okay, when it comes to Splatoon, Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Nintendo's doing a really good job of repackaging those games, making sure they continuously like optimize and release updates to those games so people can go back and pick them up. Although we haven't seen much for Zelda lately, but that game has pretty much been wrapped up. They have the DLC, they have the Explorers Edition, so they've been doing stuff like that in order to keep the names of those games in the forefront, and it's been paying off. Games have still continued to sell, and those have pretty much been the system sellers in terms of first-party games for the first half, along with games that people didn't play on the Wii U or people who didn't buy a Wii U can now purchase, like Bayonetta 2, Donkey Kong, and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. So Nintendo has a fantastic strategy here, and I think that going forward, they said that they're going to release several hit titles. They talked about Smash Brothers, Yoshi's coming, Fire Emblem's coming, and I think there's going to be a couple more secrets in terms of other stuff. I think that they're going to release some more Labo Toy-Con kit sets. The Variety Kit is doing very well, so I think they're going to expand upon that Variety Kit and do even more in that line for release in 2018. That could definitely happen, but I do want to see what they're doing with the other big titles, or what isn't known yet. What isn't known yet, because Smash Brothers is great, Fire Emblem is great, but I do feel that there's one more big title that they're kind of holding back on. So we'll see if that actually happens, but I think it will, because I think E3 is going to have a ton of different surprises and great stuff for us to check out. We'll see what DNA and Nintendo have been up to when it comes to that. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Nintendo's strategy and plans for 2018, how they're going to continue to drive momentum? Super Smash Bros. Is going to be absolutely bonkers. Seriously, it's going to be insane. That game is going to sell so much on the Switch. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, now moving on to the final topic here. The Super NES Classic Edition worldwide sales have topped 5.28 million. Yes, 5.28 million. And yes, yo, and check this one out, guys. 1.28 million additional sales since January. So Nintendo's been cooking when it comes to this Super Nintendo Classic Edition. It's like selling almost as good as like Nintendo's standard consoles, man. This is absolutely insane. So the total sales of the Super Nintendo Classic Edition have exceeded 5.2 million units as of March 31st. Nintendo has announced in its latest financial results call. The Super NES Classic Edition sales were last reported in January as 4 million units, meaning it has since moved an additional 1.28 million units. As I stated before, the plug-and-play system was released in late September 2017 in North America and Europe, and in Japan in early October 2017. In Europe, it's known as the Nintendo Classic Mini Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and in Japan, it is called the Nintendo Classic Mini Super Famicom. And shout outs to Gamatsu for that information there. And there's too many different things in terms of this name. It's too large when it comes to the name. The name is just too much stuff in there, so I just call it like the Super Nintendo Classic, the SNES Classic, SNES Mini, because that's a lot better than saying the Super Nintendo Classic Edition Ultra Combo Edition 4. I mean, like, Jesus, Nintendo. Like, I get it. You want to be traditional, and I get that, but man, like, that is just too much. So Super NES Classic is what I like to go with. So what do you guys think about this? I haven't played mine too much since like when I first got it, and shout outs to Mikael Casanova, my boy over there in Hawaii. Thank you so much for shipping me that Super Nintendo Classic, man, because I just couldn't get one at the beginning. But yo, man, this is great to see. This is really cool to see the Super NES Classic Edition selling so well. I like the fact that it's just continuously doing well, so I think Nintendo would be a bit silly to stop it, right? Because we know that the NES Classic is coming back, and they did say that they're going to be printing Super Nintendo Classics throughout the rest of the year. So I do feel that they should just continue this. Keep it going all the way to the GameCube. Maybe they'll do that, because people have been talking about, well, are we going to get an N64 Classic, which I wouldn't be as excited about, because that system, that's fine. I mean, I get it, 3D gaming, it was very influential, but man, there are no RPGs on that system. There are no good RPGs, or there are very few good RPGs. So I wouldn't be as high on that system, but I want them to go all the way to the GameCube, man. I think that would be awesome. So I think Nintendo's going to keep this going. It's revenue, it's money coming in, it's a lot of money coming in. This thing is $79.99, so it's not like it's undersold like the NES Classic was undersold. This one is a little bit pricier, and I don't think it took a lot more to develop when it comes to the games. The games are already done. You just have to pay the team to put it together, R&D, all of that stuff, and manufacturing costs, but it's a small, tiny little thing, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it takes a lot, and Nintendo's charging a pretty good price for it. So in my opinion, this is all good, and I want to see them continue with it. And I think Nintendo's going to have a lot of success when it comes to their classic and retro sales with this. So what do you guys think about the Super Nintendo Classic sales here? What do you think about Nintendo and the titles coming out in 2018? Everything that we discussed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube Live gaming pages and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.